Well, all right. Here we are once again back at Pastor B's kitchen table. You know the routine. You to contact your mother, your father, and all your them to let them know they're back at the table. You remember the table is a place that we come together to talk about some real pertinent, real issues in a real transparent way. And today I'm glad to have the table. One of our youngest guests we've ever had at the table before. We've got a young lady because I had to get her because her name has been popping up all over social media, popping up all around the country. And I'm glad to have this young genius with us today. It is none other than Sister Nadiya Blair. Nadiya, will you please say hello? Will you say hello to the
everyone, church family?
All righty. Nadiya, I have asked you to come to the table, dear, because you have achieved a great accomplishment. And that accomplishment is that you have graduated from college. Now, people do that every year. However, there's something unique about your graduation. Can you tell us your story a little bit, Nadiya?
I can. I think what probably stands out the most to people is I actually started taking college courses my freshman year in high school when I was 12, got my associates when I was 16, and then just graduated from Howard University proudly at 18.
Let me get this right. You've graduated from Howard University at the age of 18. Wow. What was your major in?
Political science with a minor in sociology.
Okay, political science with a major. All right, okay. So Nadiya, you've got to tell us how. That's good to the question. You're 18 years of age. And a lot of people are either just finishing high school or contemplating what school they want to go to, but you've completed it. Tell us how.
Well, it actually started before high school. I was blessed with a super smart mom who just really encouraged me to read and learn from a young age. And when I walked into kindergarten, they gave us this packet and it was our weekly packet, but I didn't know that. It was, my first time in real school. I was so excited. I finished the packet before lunch and I was like, so I just get to play all day? I was like, this is fantastic. I should have been here earlier. And then they were like, no, that was for the week. So I came back the next day, I tested out of kindergarten. Then the next day I took it again, finished a little after lunch and tested out of first grade. So then I ended up testing out of kindergarten first and second grade. My mom was like, wait, we're not gonna put a 5-year-old in third grade. So we put a 5-year-old in second grade. And then that means when I started high school, I was 12. And at my school, I had the opportunity to start taking dual credit courses at San Jacinto. So I started the earliest my school let us, so freshman year. Took courses usually I took 2 courses each semester, maybe 1 or 2 in the summer. And then I got to graduate with my associates in social and behavioral studies in 2019.
Wow. So you've kind of been this girl genius, if you will, from when you were in kindergarten.
I mean, sometimes I feel like it, but other times a good hard math problem will scratch my head.
Yeah. In being able to test out of these classes and certainly going to university campus at the age you went, socially, what was that like for you?
It was a lot better at college. I actually met several other 16-year-olds. That was the first time I've had that happen. But in elementary school, it was really difficult because, when you're 2 years younger than someone and you're a tiny little girl, it's just harder. You want to run around with the boys, you want to play football, but I'm also 5, 8-year-olds, And I also went through a K through 12. So even in middle school, I was taking courses with high schoolers at 9. So it was different. And I think I definitely gained tough skin because of it. But I think I'm better for it. And now I connect with people all ages because I can relate to more ages, I'd say.
Wow. Did you ever just want to have someone your age just to kind of hang out with?
Oh, well, absolutely. And that's one of the perks of going through K through 12 was I was still able to see my friends. I actually had one other girl who was 12 in high school too. She skipped a grade and we just had that. But going to the same school from 5, a lot of the people I knew in second grade were the same people I walked across the stage with on graduation day. So, eventually we all grow up. I'm 5'7", so I'm not a tiny 5-year-old anymore. But I love having friends who are older than me, same age as me. It's just really great.
Wow. So now tell us about the Howard University. You went to DC, Washington, DC, and you attended the legendary Howard University. and you stepped on campus at the age of 16. Is that correct?
I did, yes.
Now tell us what that was like. You're far from home. You're in a brand new world. You're on another coast. What was that like for you?
It was so different. Just college. That was just it was you build such solidarity with people
Right.
just because everyone's kind of in the same option. And you have these groups, but not even like cliques like high school was, but it was just like the pride I rep my dormitory with. Like, oh my goodness, I live in CHN. I love this. Like, it was just really great. And I really loved my dorm so much. That contributed a lot to my, well, first and really only year on campus, sadly. Being able, like, I remember I had braids and I like walk down the hall and you can just walk down and ask someone to zip your dress up or take your braids out. And that family aspect was so great because I don't have any siblings here. So that was really awesome.
Yeah, yeah. How were you treated by the professors?
Oh, the professors at Howard were incredible. It was one of the only times I've ever had the opportunity to be taught by people who looked like me about subjects I was passionate about.
Right.
Most of my professors didn't know my age till the end. I think my mock trial coach knew. That was my fun fact for mock trial. But most of my professors didn't know my age because, again, I will say my professors when I was at San Jack in 12, if they couldn't tell my age from me saying it, they definitely could tell in my behavior. But luckily, I've matured and kind of blended in.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Was there any fear? Because someone's watching this and saying, this young child, she's always achieved, she's always been an overachiever. Fear. Did you have any fears along the way?
Not in the typical way, because one of my big goals in everything I do is like I ask, will I regret this? If it's no, I just kind of dive headfirst in it. And I think a big part of it was knowing that my parents prepared me because I remember like it just wasn't clicking for people when I was like, oh, she's 12 in high school. Like it just didn't. And then people were like, Nadiya's leaving to DC.
Yeah.
And like they were asking my parents, are you okay? My mom was like, we know that we prepared her. And I was confident in what they prepared me. And my parents' only request when I picked a school was that we had a established support system there. And that made me really confident in whatever I did.
Okay, okay. Now, someone's watching now, they're asking a question, man, how much did all this cost? Let's talk about the money. Because that's another blessing here when we talk about Nadiya. Tell us about the money. What did it cost you to acquire this degree from Howard University?
Other than a lot of time on my computer, financially, I was able to graduate debt-free, so $0.
Can you say that again, please? You were able to graduate
debt-free. I'm very grateful about it. I'll shout it to the rooftop.
So you don't have any student loans?
I don't have any student loans, never had to take any out. I had to make one card payment and I was able to reimburse it with a late scholarship. So I was able to pay off the 2 years.
So you got to tell us this whole mystery is that how were you able to matriculate through Howard University and come out on the other end without having any student loans? Someone's wondering that. They're just trying to make it through community college and you made it through Howard University. How are you able to go through college without acquiring debt?
Well, a big part of that was being able to take courses that transferred to Howard. So when I got my associates, 57 of the credits transferred to Howard. So like I didn't need to take English. I didn't need to take college algebra 1. A lot of those courses transferred and a lot of those courses are way cheaper at a local community college. And even some of our advisors at Howard, they were like, if you can take your math elsewhere, like make it easier, smaller class sizes, that's a benefit. So I was able to take those classes and transfer. And then I had a tuition scholarship based off my SAT score and my application. They covered tuition, but those other expenses I covered with several small scholarships. I think I had my biggest scholarship I received externally was a $5,000 scholarship. And then I think I had maybe a 3,000, couple 1,000, but I had a lot of 200s, 500s, 300s. Yeah. The ones that nobody wants to apply for.
Right.
That was the one I was like, okay, nobody wants to do what would I do if I was a pirate today? I'll do it. Like making sure you just go for those random scholarships because a lot of them, those smaller scholarships, you have a way better chance because everyone gets dazzled by the $30,000 scholarship. But sometimes you have to just know that those small scholarships do add up.
Oh, that's a good word, because you're right. Because you think about getting a $30,000 to $50,000 scholarship to cover all 4 or 5 years at once, and you're saying no. If you got a 200, I want that also. 300. So it's about the volume of it. You're saying, and just try to get as many as you can. So with that in mind, you had to do a lot of applying.
A lot of applying, a lot of rejection letters too.
Yeah.
It's a part of life. But no, just like blocking off time, because there'd be times I'd, sitting on couch like a little teenager, scrolling Instagram, watching Netflix. My mom was like, "How many scholarships did you apply to this week?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Let me get on that." So just getting those little scholarships, adding up that way. If you only apply to 10 scholarships in your entire, prepping for college, and you don't get 8 of them, that can really be scary. So if you apply to 100, but you get 20 of those, that puts you in a way more comfortable spot.
That is awesome. So were you able to pledge or anything while you were on campus?
I did join Alpha Phi Omega National Service Fraternity, and I was able to become the second vice president and the programs director. And that was really exciting for me this past year.
Oh my goodness. So you had also time to pledge and go. So here, how many hours were you taking per semester?
15 all of my first year, and then my second year, 18 the first semester, 19 the second.
Okay. Wow. So you had a full load.
Yes. Because that's one thing my parents made very clear, was that school was my very first job. So that's what I had to do first.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Nadiya, obviously you were extremely disciplined. You've been disciplined for a long time.
It's at certain things, definitely. I've seen on Facebook, people are like, "Oh, she's perfect." I was like, "No, I am not." My mother was like, "This is so funny," because I avoid dishes like any other teenager and don't make my bed as much as I should. So no, I think when it comes to school, my parents gave me a lot of flexibility, and I just never wanted to abuse that, because I know parents who were helicopter parents, and I know this girl, like, her mom would get an alert and she'd just come and take her phone.
Yeah.
My mom was like, "Handle your business." She was like, "If you have to spend your summer in summer school," she was like, "That's okay. I'm not driving you, but that's okay."
Yeah. I'm not driving you. Wow. So Nadiya, so what's next? You have mastered elementary, you mastered middle school, high school, accelerated through college, and you graduated from Howard University. What's next?
Right now, I'm doing a business internship with Vector Marketing / Cutco, and running one of their offices for them. They were so supportive last year, with just helping me with skills, working the virtual workforce while we're still trying to get this situated. But my next plan is, I really want to work with a nonprofit that increases college readiness and professional opportunities for incarcerated youth and for foster care children. So I'm trying to get the skills that I can help me in business management. So right now I'm looking at master's and doctorate programs that do business administration with nonprofit concentrations. I'm looking into public policy as well as social work as well.
Wow. Someone would have assumed that you would naturally go into law school. You want to become an attorney. And you're saying something a little bit different than becoming an attorney.
Yes, I know, for several years I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. I think that's even, we do the magazine covers for graduation. I'm pretty sure it's actually where my high school one says is like attorney at law. One thing that I learned at Howard, the people I surrounded myself with, my school wasn't as diverse. So I thought like nobody was doing child advocacy law. And I get to Howard and I meet 40 people on my first day doing child advocacy law. And I remember talking to my advisor, and she was like, the job market's going to be really concentrated with child advocates and lawyers. I mean, you can never have too many people who are needed to be done in terms of social work and the policies and a lot of the behind the scenes, not just being in courts. And just using that mindset, I think law school, I'm definitely not totally closing the door on it. Just right now, I think that I can use my talents and my brain power for other things.
Well, the thing, why that passion? Why you have the passion for that?
I was thinking about this recently, and I think I've always just recognize that other people don't have it as great as me. Like, you can always be looking for better, but someone's always looking at you and thinking, wow, the grass is always greener on the other side. And I think one area that I was able to cultivate my love for youth was I got to volunteer at Kingdom Kids when I was younger. And I loved that. Like, I love spending my time with kids, work like during conferences when I used to be put in, I'd love working with the younger kids. And I just know that I want everyone to just be better. And I just wish that I can help. And I've always loved community service. So being able to serve other people who I consider family would be great.
Wow. So what schools are you looking at?
Ooh, good question. I really don't know. I am kind of trying to get over my fear of everything above the Mason-Dixie line.
Yeah.
I think the Jamaican blood, the cold. I was wearing the coat in 60-degree weather, and I remember someone tweeted, "Who has the Southerners wearing coats right now?"
Yeah.
I don't like the cold, but I'm trying to get over it. But I'm looking, I kind of want to experience a lot of the United States. Like, I thought a lot of states were flyover states, but I've been learning a lot more about some of the, what states we don't really know too much about, Missouri. Right. And I'm really interested in maybe doing programs there. I've never been on the West Coast, looking at some programs on the West Coast, but I think it would be cool to do the East Coast collegiate life for a little bit, and even maybe come back to Howard.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So if you could write the script, if the Lord put the pen in your hand, the next 5 years, where will Nadiya Blair be in 5 years?
Next 5 years, I love skipping grades. So hopefully by then I would have done a dual degree program, PhD, master's again, because I really do love school. I always tell my mom when I was considering graduate school options, you always say during graduate Sunday, don't become a professional student. But I was like, I love school so much. Yeah. But I think I would have graduated a program. My goal, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 years, is to actually start my own scholarship. I was able to actually be chair of a scholarship committee at Howard, and I love just reading applications and trying to get money. Maybe I would be on a fundraising committee for another scholarship, like the UNCF scholarship, and helping them determine who to give scholarships to. Let's see. I don't know. Just in 5 years, I hope that every day I'm changing at least one person's life. I feel like that's a big goal, but I think every day I'm doing something that's bettering one person's life. I'll be very happy.
Man, obviously you've done so many things well. If you could go back and do a redo, if you could change something over the years and over your college years at Howard University, what would you change?
The first thing that pops into mind is I wish I stayed with my languages a lot better. Okay. I used to be fluent in Spanish and French, and I can't speak a lick of French, and I'm an intermediate Spanish on Duolingo. I wish I had that, because another passion of mine, especially with the past few years, is being able to volunteer at immigration sites and the places on the border. So I think it would be really, really great had I had the ability to communicate with more people. So that's what probably made me regret.
Wow, a volunteer at the border site, that is awesome. You're literally talking about a grassroots and empowering people, educating people, partnering with people who really need to be lifted up. You are serious about, because I listened to you and I kept waiting to hear if you're going to chase the money, because obviously someone as skilled as you are and as you will be, you will have suitors. But I didn't hear. Now I'm quite sure that you won't turn away the money because you've got so much money already to go to school. But I heard the priority of changing lives, changing people, and I guess the money is just one of the condiments that come with it, But the priority is certainly changing lives. I think that is to be commended. Now, Nadiya, there are people who are watching, and they're asking the question: okay, sister, you breezed through it. It was easy for you, but I'm struggling. So what would you say to that student today who did not get exempted, from a class? In fact, they may have to retake that class. what would you say to them today?
I will say the exact same thing. This is a part of my story that I'm not shy about, but I actually don't get the opportunity to talk about as much. I failed a class in high school. Woo! I was crying on that front desk receptionist table. What do you mean? They tried to fail me with a 69.4, and by try, I mean they succeeded. And I just remember just like the emotional toll it took, and I was crying. My mom was like, "I failed the class." It's like, and this was a class like I was up every night, 1 a.m. doing homework, doing problems, studying all these hours, and still failing quizzes. And I'll just say, like, it's very possible. I think one thing I had to work on was asking people for help, just using resources. Like my number one tip for anybody in academia right now would definitely be like Khan Academy is one of the best resources ever used. I use that for math. They have English opportunities. That's actually what I use for the SAT mostly. And I got a 700 out of 800, like my very first time using that method. But just keep motivating, know who you are, know whose you are, and just pushing through, and just knowing that whatever your weakness may be, your weakness isn't what defines you, and just pushing through. I know math's not my strong suit, but there's tons of other things that I'm super great at, and it just means I give math extra love and extra time to work on. So I definitely say just be positive and just keep your head up, because eventually I will forget that I failed 10th grade geometry. Eventually, I forgot it. Eventually.
That is awesome, and that is so such a blessing for you to share that, Nadiya, because people would assume is that you've always made 100 for all of your life, and they would say, I can't even identify it. But yes, you can. You say, I actually failed a class, and I like what you said. Keep pressing, keep it moving. Maybe I'm not the best at this, but I'm great at this. I can give that some love, but at the end of the day, we're imperfect people relying on a perfect God. And that's the key. Dear, God bless you, dear. My goodness, I am just so excited to see just what the Lord is going to do in the next chapter of your life. Because it's been a great, great ride for you, obviously, and for your parents. Kitchen table, I told you I'm going to bring you all kind of a diversity of guests. And today I brought you a young sister. You cannot believe, but this sister is 18 and she graduated from college and she's working now. And she's contemplating going to get another dual degree and a PhD, but yet helping people. I want you to revisit it again. She went to college and graduated with no debt. She took student loans. She took scholarships from anyone that was given, anyone that had one to offer. It could have been the Piggly Wiggly, Kmart, McDonald's, anybody. That's right, anybody, whoever. If you got some dollars, I want them. And so it's just a joy. So I want you to share this with your grandchildren, with your children, even as parents. I want you to be encouraged, because she said it herself. You got to just keep on moving. So kitchen table family, I thank God for you. It's the deal. God bless you. God keep you. Keep on doing what you're doing and keep on lifting people up, because people need to be lifted up. God bless you. God keep you. I'll see you next week right here at the kitchen table.